Having an exclusive interview with Regina Chain, Fredrico. Okay, it's conducted at Performance HQ in Pride Penang. So here is Fredrico.
Ciao Roger. Good to see you. It's a pleasure to be here and to be here with you. I'm Fredrico Gualdi. I'm the sales director for Regina Chain. I've been involved in the past 3 years in the company, and I'm taking care of all the activities in terms of sales and also marketing for all that regards the motorcycle business unit. Actually, Roger, you need to know that Regina is quite a big company. We have about 600 people involved just in the motorcycle chain, but consider that the company itself has also a business unit dedicated to conveyor and also to industrial chains. But everybody knows Regina for motorcycle chains.
Fredrico, why is Regina involved in racing? Is it a passion, or is it marketing, or is it just for profit?
Well, actually, it's really DNA, because Regina has always been involved since in the early stage of the company in racing. We feel that supporting the sport is not just a matter of passion, but is a matter also of evolvement of the products. Actually, all the products that are now available to customers are the results of an important development in racing. So we first develop products for racing, and then we bring it to the end consumer. Taking into account that this year Regina 2019 celebrates the 100-year anniversary, so 1 century of performance chain. Since 1919 we developed chain first for bicycles and then for motorcycles, and the first world championship that Regina won, 1949, Regina gain every year several world championships. Now in 100 years of history, we have reached about 350 world championship titles, and that goes from MotoGP to Moto2, Moto3, off-road competition, MXGP, MX2, enduro competition, speedway, trials, so anything that has 2 wheels, and in some cases even more, because sidecars, Regina always have won. And most of the riders, existing riders and past riders, have won with Regina. Consider that among the riders that have won with using Regina products, we have Marquez, so the last world championship in MotoGP, but as well Valentino Rossi, Lorenzo. We have current riders such as Petrucci, Morbidelli, who have been using Regina and have been able to gain a world championship also because of Regina.
Okay, good. Okay, looking at the racing and GP machines today, currently, which teams are Regina currently sponsoring as a technical sponsor?
Yes, Regina is actually focusing mainly on European teams. So with regards to the MotoGP, we are sponsoring the Aprilia racing team, the Otto Pramac racing team, which is a Ducati bike, as well as the Avintia Ducati bikes. For the Moto2, we actually have several teams. Last weekend in Moto2, we actually won the GP in Qatar with Baldassarri. He's riding with the Pons team, Flexbox HP40. We do have also other teams like the Sky team from VR46, exactly. We have Italtrans. We have hard to remember because there are actually so many. Consider that between MotoGP, Moto2 and Moto3 we have a total of 13 teams racing with Regina Chain.
13 teams?
Yes. Last year we got very close in winning the Moto3 because Bezzecchi ended second in the World Championship, but we won Moto2 with Bagnaia, who's this year is again our rider in Otto Pramac MotoGP together with Jack Miller.
The difference between road racing chains and road use chains.
Yes, actually there is a big difference, frankly speaking. Consider that all the chains made for MotoGP in Regina are handmade. So each chain is made by hand because of some peculiar characteristics of the product. And these chains are actually monitored and checked by 3 different people each single chain. That is what makes like a racing chain for Regina a reliable product and a winning product. Actually, the chain for road is manufactured in a different way. It's manufactured completely automatically. And the only connection between the racing chain and the road chain is actually the know-how, because everything that is developed in racing then goes into production for the end user. So actually there are riders that can find a great satisfaction even riding with our road sport bike chain, what's so-called ZRP. This sport bike chain is a reliable chain that can offer great performance and with a considerable budget.
The material used for racing and also for road use, is it different?
That's a good question, but also very delicate.
Okay.
Okay, let me put it this way. I cannot disclose in details the kind of material and the characteristics of actually the existing MotoGP chains, or like the racing chains more in general. But I can tell you that the existing chains in the Regina Extra product range actually is a heritage from the previous racing seasons. And those chains are made with same material as the road racing chains, only the specifications are different. So in the case of racing chains, we tend to use thinner material because we really care about light. So the product needs to be absolutely light. And on the other side, we make it a very low friction chain using some specific O-ring or Z-ring, which allow to have a limited friction between the side plates, which end of the day delivers more performance to the bike, because the efficiency of transfer of power from the engine to the wheel gets also to the maximum level.
Okay, the question I was meaning was like, just now you were saying that made in Japan chains using a different raw material, and like Regina makes in Italy different kind of material, and some manufacturers also do elsewhere, another country. So the difference between the chain, the quantity, the quality, and also the, because you're 100% made in Italy, right? So how do you the materials that you use would benefit the users and the performance?
Sure. Thank you for pointing that out, Roger. Consider that worldwide it's well known that there are only a few places that can deliver the best performance still, and this it has a great impact on the performance. We in Regina, we decided, in order to maintain always the utmost quality level, to have the entire manufacture placed in Italy. So we always use the same material for the entire product range. Some of our competitors have a different philosophy or attitude. They have the premium line of products which has similar characteristics to Regina, manufactured entirely, for example, in Japan. But then some of their products are made in different places of the world, for example, Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, Brazil. And there, the material is not exactly the most performing material for chains. Actually, you need to know that the three main features when you develop performing chains are steel, first, second, the heat treatments, and third, the lubrication. If you miss or fail to use the best material available in the world, which is available, as I said, in limited regions of the world, then you limit the performance of the bike. The type of material that Regina use is 100% pure. So we don't use any recycled steel at all, and we use actually material that as it comes from earth. You need to know that most of the chain is made starting from wire, and from just a single wire we make all the different parts, which are the bushing, the rollers, the solid rollers, the pins. It's going to be interesting for you if you have the time to come and visit us in Regina. You're welcome to come over and make a report to learn more about how a chain is made, and how interesting is seeing just a little wire becoming then an incredible chain. One of the other things that really is important and few people take in consideration is that a chain is made by more than 1,000 single parts. Okay, let me explain you what I mean with this. Consider that in just one link you have 2 pins, 2 side plates, 2 external side plates, 2 internal side plates, 2 bushing, 2 rollers. So if you calculate all the parts, we are talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parts. Okay. If you multiply this for 120 links, which is the standard length, it means that one single chain is made with at least 1,200 parts, plus all the Z-ring. If you add also that, you come almost to 1,500 parts. And all these parts needs to be as precise as possible to fit one with each other. And that is something that only a performing and premium chain can offer. As you know, the combination from side plates, internal side plates, with the bushing, there is no welding, there is no glue. It's just a combination of a perfect fitment between 2 metal parts. So we normally work in tolerance of micron of every single part. And that also what makes the difference between a quality chain with respect to simple standard chain, because a quality chain, the fitting is always perfect, and that is reflected on the durability of the chain and on the performance of the chain. While on a standard chain, the tolerances are not so precise, and therefore you will see that reflected in a short life or in an early stretching of the chain, which is something that does not happen with Regina.
Could you explain a little bit more on O-ring and...
Between the difference between O-ring and Z-ring, you mean, or between a Z-ring and not O-ring chains?
The difference of the smaller displacement chains.
Yes, let me explain you. So the difference between the small displacement chains, which normally are considered no-seal chain,
Okay.
and with respect to the Z-ring chains, which are the sealed chains. Just to give you an example, by chance I have here in front a Z-ring. So this is the typical seal that goes between outer plate and inner plate, in order to keep the lubricant inside of pin and bushing. So Generally, for a small displacement bike, you don't use any seal chain because the seal chain has many advantages, but the greatest disadvantage of creating friction. And when you create friction on a small displacement bike, you take away too much power from the engine to the wheel, and therefore the bike would be very sensible to the lack of performance. So for the small displacement bike, normally it's more suggested to use no seal chain. Okay. Regina also offers seal chains for small displacement bike. For example, we have a 428 chain with sealed. Okay. But if you're looking for regular durability and a good performance good efficiency, I would say, in transmission power from engine to the wheel, then for small displacement bike you should go for no seal chain.
No seal chain.
When you're starting to consider bigger displacement bike where the speed is much higher and where actually friction is not a big problem because you have lots of power, then we tend to use Z-ring seals, which actually are able to deliver a long durability to the chain, because the lubricant trap between the bushing and the pins and sealed by the Z-ring allows to keep the temperature of the chain low, about 70 degrees, and that avoids to have any friction between pin and bushing, and therefore the chain lasts longer and doesn't stretch, even if there is a high speed involved.
Okay. What's the highest speed of the bike can go with the chain? Just say like a H2R that runs on Regina chain.
Yes.
If you have different kind of model or recommended model for high speed above 300 speed superbike.
Okay. Well, actually there is no specific limit in terms of speed. Last weekend I was in the MotoGP in Qatar, and one of our riders arrived up to 350 kilometers per hour. So that's actually quite an impressive speed, and the chain can easily withstand it. It's not a problem.
No problem.
Normally on road use, we tend to categorize the range of product more on displacement than on speed. So for example, we have different categories of chains that are more suitable up to 600 centimeter displacement. We have other chains that can go up to 900, 1000 or above. So depending on the displacement of the bike, we suggest one chain or another. In particular, the most popular chain that goes in a product range, in a displacement range between 600 up to 1000 is our ZRT.
What size is that? What size is that?
That can go from 520, 525 up to 530. So the ZRT product is the best value product because delivers performance, durability, and also has an affordable price. That chain is available, as I said, in 520, 525, 530, and can be used on bikes, let me say, from 600, 500. So we have, in our R&D department, we have a very sophisticated laboratory which allow us to perform quality tests and to measure the performance of each chain on each application. So what we normally do, we perform tests in terms of tensile strength, fatigue limits, which is even more important than the tensile strength, because actually few people know that a chain will get tired, so overload the fatigue limit and therefore stretch in a manner that is not usable anymore, more than a tensile strength. So the chain normally stretches before breaking. Okay. In our case, Regina philosophy is always to have a chain that has a much higher fatigue limit, so the chain can last longer, more than a high tensile strength, as the chain will never reach the level of the tensile strength. It's always more important to keep the fatigue limit as high as possible. Said so, among our tools for in the R&D, in the laboratory, we also have a simulating machine that allow us to run several cycles of durability. So there is where we measure for each application the durability of the chain. That kind of machine allow us to experience when is the best interval to apply lubricants on the chain. We normally suggest every 400 kilometers.
400 kilometers.
Yes, that's on a regular base. Take in consideration that if you, Roger, lives next to the seaside, or if you are, as I think you are, somebody that speed a lot, then we suggest to make maintenance more often, like around 250, 300 kilometers, because the speed actually tends to dry the chain faster, because the centrifugal force will spill the lubricant out faster. And to live close to the seaside or in a very wet condition actually dries the chain and makes it more attachable by rust or other events. Therefore, we suggested in those limited conditions to do more often maintenance.
So as you were saying that we should like for me riding high speed, we should lubricate the chain about 250 kilometers mileage, and if you just like normal riding in normal conditions, you lubricate it about 400 kilometers.
Yes, 400 above, like 400, 500 kilometers. We tend to be very conservative because we want you to take care of our chain so it can last longer. But we know that sometimes when you ride for long, it's not so easy to make maintenance.
Yeah.
So therefore, okay, we understand that and we try to be conservative, saying do it best on a 400 base, 400 kilometers. But if you can't, then 500, 600. Just take care of the chain and the chain will take care of you.
Okay, how long the lifespan of a chain? Just a normal lifespan of a chain, just with good maintenance and lubrication.
Yes, we have many information with regards to this because we work in close contact with the most important original equipment manufacturers. I didn't mention before that Regina is actually original equipment on the entire product range of BMW. To give you an example, we supply Aprilia because you have an Aprilia bike. We supply KTM. In KTM, for example, all the off-road range comes original with Regina. We supply, I lost track, but actually consider that most manufacturers use Regina as original equipment. Some in exclusive, so they decided to go only with Regina because of the reliability. Some they prefer to keep two or three manufacturers to balance the supply. Every manufacturers requires us to make some durability test. For example, Ducati has a minimum mileage time, which is 24,000 kilometers. So in that case, we need at least to meet the 24,000. So we know for sure that what a chain can do can last on a regular base maintenance. But actually we also have other riders like long riding test For example, we support many riders that do world tour on a bike, and we see that a good quality chain from Regina, like the ZRP, can easily reach 40,000 kilometers with no problem, as far as you do the good maintenance, as I told you before. So to make it more in general, the life of a chain for road use with Z-ring, it should last minimum the 20,000 kilometers above. Then it's really up to you
how to take care of the
how to take care. And as I
chain.
said, you take care of the chain will take care of you.
Thank you. Okay, I think we have all the information, and any last words to tell our readers that about the chain?
Yes, actually, we don't manufacture only chains. We actually deliver passion, because the titles, the World Championship we won in these years, and the fact that we are 100% committed on the motorcycle chain, 100% made in Italy, supplying most of the original equipment manufacturers, and the 350 titles that we have won in our history so far, makes you understand that we don't only manufacture a product, but we try to deliver the passion. So every time that we sponsor a team, we always think that that chain one day will go to the end user. So we always care to make sure that our products will deliver the same enthusiasm, the same passion, the same adrenaline that we deliver to riders, also to the end user. So that's our main goal. So in our latest marketing campaign, we have put the faces, the smiling faces of many of our riders, past riders, and we said, ride Regina, be one of us. Because actually, when you ride Regina, you don't only put a chain, but you feel the enthusiasm of a company that delivers not only chains, but also passion. And the right partnership in this delivering of passion was found here in Asia through BikerZone. Because BikerZone was actually the best player that we selected and we found, having the same motivations that we do have in delivering passion. So they are looking after Regina in Asia, and they are doing an excellent job in delivering that passion from the company to the market. So our vision is think global and act local. So we think global, how to deliver passion to racing, and BikerZone act local in delivering the passion to the end user.
Thank you, Fredrico.
Okay,
so, right, Regina, be one of us.
Right, Regina, be one of us.
All right, thank you.